Hey everybody, this is Grace. In this video, I'm going to talk about when those of us who have really, truly dysfunctional families, and it could be in-laws or both, for that matter, that we have to make that decision to go totally no contact with them. Now, for some, it could be that they were already low contact, L-O-W, contact, just try to stay away from them as much as possible, and needed to, for whatever reason, be in some contact with them. Sometimes it might be legal, like you have an elderly parent and there's inheritance, or there's problems with the elderly parent or parents. And sometimes it's children, like your own family that you created, with your spouse and your children or child or children. And then you can go at some point go from low contact to no contact because of whatever reason. Finally, there's that chance, that opportunity to go totally no contact. Do not contact me. Do not send me emails. Do not have somebody else contact me. Whatever it is that you have to tell them, because the dysfunction, or abuse was so horrendous that you have to, for your own health. Okay, this is what I want to talk about. Okay, one of the things I want to talk about is that when this happens, that you can finally go through that. Now you may have done some, it's a feeling of like mourning, grief, mourning someone, because once you go through the total no contact, you might feel that, like you're in mourning, like that, as if those of them that you went no contact with are no longer alive in a way, even though they probably are physically alive, but to you, they are dead to you. And that can be very difficult, even if they were truly like physically abusive, emotionally, verbally, whatever type of abusive to you, maybe your family that you started, anybody that you still may feel that. You still might feel like, and also like you're going through the stages of grief. Don't be surprised. I mean, I'm not saying that everybody would experience it, and I'm not giving anybody any advice or anything like that. But I can say that, yeah, it could feel that. And of course, for some might think it depends on the age. I'm not sure of that. I'm not sure of the age, that makes that big of a difference, because, say these are the people, say they're not your in-laws, they're your own family of origin, and you grew up in with them, the ones you grew up with, however it was, and they were still such a big part of your childhood and your, the years when you were growing up and learning about the world. And for some, they might not have known that there was anything different out there, and then once they became adults and as they got older, they realized that this was not right, this is dysfunctional, and the treatment is wrong, not every family does that, on and on. But still, they were such an important part of your life. That is not a good reason to stay in contact with them. In my view, like I said, I'm not giving anybody any advice. But those feelings there. Now I'm a social and behavioral scientist. I remember years ago, I was a career student too, taught at college and university. That's in the past, but I remember years ago they were saying this, sociobiologist and cultural and physical, just anthropologist. I had a minor in anthropology for a while, but basically it was that there is, to make it brief, that there is a pull back to your biological family. Now, not everybody knows their biological family, but this was about the pull back to the biological family, like, you're not adopted, and your actual physical, biological parents. And but I think there's more to it than that. But like the sociobiologist would say, yes, And it could be when you were adopted that you have that pull back to, basically people that you were with when you were young. Like I just said, that's trying to make it very simple. And I'm not doing a good job at it, but you see what I'm saying. And so there's going to be for many people, I think many, if not most, no, if not all, that feeling of they were horrible, but you still have that little, nostalgia, maybe is a good word for it. And just a feeling like that's the bond. That's a bond you're having. And it could be plural. Bond you are breaking. And knowing that that because of how horrible it was, there's no turning back. It would be unhealthy. Or you might not learn that right away. You might try. I've done it. And you might try more than once. And you continue to see just how horrible they are. I did a video mentioning these things. Like, they might try to use you, I keep saying but your misfortune or whatever bad is going on in your life, say, and you're reaching out because those are the, people you would think would have your back, and they don't. And they're using that. They're laughing at your misfortune and using it for their benefit. Or just to be able to brag at you that their lives are so wonderful and see yours are bad. You should have never left the family. They'll use it for something, and use it for something, and some of it's just so they can laugh at you. So there's that. Okay, when some of us do it, but the good question is, when does it ever stop? Does it ever stop? That feeling of wanting them in your life. And I've even experienced this. I mean, it doesn't always have to even be your actual family. It could be your community that you grew up with, especially if it was close, tight-knit community. The area, the school system, the town. And you really, as you grow up, you see how dysfunctional it was, how bad it was, but there's still that feeling of wanting to be around what was there. And then at some point maybe questioning, what was all that about? And I know the answer usually people say is, well, it helped you to become what you are today. Yes, but you still might question, what was it all about? Why did I have to go through all of that? That abuse. Plain and simple, that abuse. Okay. And now there's this. What if it is your significant others, family, your in-laws, however you see them, and that's not just the parents. In-laws can be, are your sisters-in-law, your brothers-in-law, and they could, you could even go as far as to say like your sister's husband or something like that, whatever is the case. But let's just say your in-laws and, your significant other's family. And you personally know that you don't want to be around them. And you personally know you don't want your children to be around them. The children you had with that person. It could be a combination. You don't want it, but the other one. Now remember, the same kind of feeling you may have of loyalty and that pull back to your family, so will he or she. Good chance. Okay, and sometimes because of such loyalty and, duty and everything that they had, the dysfunction in it, they had twisted the mind and told them, that family is, your family of origin comes first. And I've experienced that one. Oh my goodness, really. And, they had twisted, his or her mind before you knew them, him or her. Okay. And plus there could be the fact that they just turn a blind eye to it, or they just don't even believe it's true. Because these, say it's your sister-in-law, his sister, let's say you're female, his sister, behind the scenes, the two of you may go, maybe you go shopping or something together. And whenever you do, she just, really, say, uses some form of verbal abuse against you, or constantly goads you, constantly telling you how wonderful she has it and how bad you two have it, or says that you treat your spouse so poorly, and just does this nonstop, these kinds of things, and you tell him, and he just doesn't believe you because he has never seen it. You see what I'm saying? He has never seen it. So to him, there's something might be wrong with you. You see? That you're taking it all wrong. Well, we can't be too judgmental about that, because we do need to have that kind of stuff in our mind. Now, there's a point where it's gone too far, or whatever has gotten to a point that then there's, should, maybe seek counseling, both of you. I'm not giving anybody advice. I'm just saying maybe, license. I don't know if they're called the same everywhere, or they are still called this these days. Licensed marriage and family therapist. Some are counselors or therapists, however it is, wherever you live. And before they manage to, maybe her whole goal is to ruin your marriage, and she may do it. She might it might get to that point. So, and where you want to go no contact and the other one doesn't. Okay, I mean, how many of us have experienced that before? Or to go to just be low contact, not allow them to come see to your home, or not to go to their home. You don't want to be a captive audience. You don't want to go places with them. Whatever is the case. Now, I personally, I understand that some people can't afford to see a counselor or a therapist. And now, like I said, I'm not giving anybody advice, but I do know that there are far too many people I've seen online who are trying to, they call themselves quite often as life coaches. Okay, I'm not saying all of them, not at all, but some of them are really, and I have heard this from people who have used them, that really it made them, they paid them to do this, and help them, guide them through whatever. These are not counselors now. I'm not talking about anybody who is an actual counselor or an actual therapist. And what the end result is that it set them back. It messed them up even more. Okay, and some people, there are various places you can find them. Maybe, not always. But one of the places I would contact, depending on, what is in your life, but I would try to contact like the say your county to see if they have anything. They might have sliding scale fees, that you actually see, or colleges and universities, and see those who are doing their like practicum and pre-practicum. And then all the stuff that they have to go through, lots of stuff, and to become counselors. And they are, they have an actual licensed professional counselor that does, they tell what's going on. They have to, it depends on where you live, really, how it works. But find out how it works. See if they have anything like that. See what the fee is if they do it for people who are not students. I would say at a university, near you, just to check it out. They might not have it, might not be available. And today, right now, what's going on in the world today. Hopefully soon, that won't be such an issue at all, or such an issue. But you see what I'm saying? I would not. There's an old-fashioned word for some of this, that people who are not what they're trying to put out, and it's charlatans. It's an old word, but yeah, or some used to say snake oil salesman. snake oil saleswomen. But you see what I'm saying? You know, because this kind of thing, this, you know, not just about when it's the marriage, but when you're leaving your family, you know, when you're saying goodbye to all of them, you know, for some, it's just that somebody said this and they said, oh, okay, I'm going to give it a try. But there's a lot to it. And it also can actually be dangerous. You know, because think about it really deep. It could be physically even. I mean, danger is not just physical. Abuse is not just physical. But it could come down to being physical. And so it's dangerous. Just taking somebody's advice, oh, you should go no contact with them. That person shouldn't be telling you that. You know, because everybody's situation is different and it can be dangerous. Plain and simple. But like I said, not here to give anybody advice. I'm going to wrap this one up. What do you think? I'll talk to you on another video. Bye.